if I've learned one thing about the mob, it's never enough. If they fired Hegseth, they'd ask for Waltz. If they fired Waltz, they'd ask for Hegseth. It will not be enough. And I think they ought to weather this storm and move on.
If this had
it's a teachable
happened in
moment.
a Democratic administration, this would have been absolutely, you would have been the first person calling for quote unquote scalps. This was an enormous
I'll answer your question if you'd like, because in a Democratic administration, the Secretary of Defense went AWOL and killed 13 American soldiers, and not a single person called for him to go down.
That's Republican Scott Jennings making a clueless NPR reporter put her foot in her mouth by pointing out a fatal flaw in her attempt at a viral gotcha moment on CNN. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the political hacks and establishment media are already trying to memory hole the unmitigated disaster that was the Biden administration. Here they are desperately trying to turn what they're calling Signalgate into a bigger scandal than it really is, only to have Scott Jennings give them a healthy dose of reality.
Will you demand the immediate resignation of Pete Hegseth?
Scott, the White House, as you know, has been downplaying, even saying that the media, President Trump said, was upplaying all of this and saying, look, this is not the big deal that they believe the media is making it out to be. But I wonder, when you hear that, are they reading the room incorrectly?
Are they reading a room full of unhinged Democrats incorrectly? No, of course not. I mean, that's obviously who showed up at this crazy town hall meeting. It's who shows up at all crazy town hall meetings. And I don't think the White House.
You think that she only had people there who were Democrats? Let alone unhinged, as you described them.
I believe that I believe the people who are showing up at these town hall meetings, just as Lulu said, are the angriest Democrats you can possibly imagine. And they would like to show up and yell at any Republican they can get their hands on. It won't be Trump and it won't be Elon, so Victoria Sparks will be the closest thing in this case that they can get to.
You know, you've got to love how every time a conservative suggests that something like this is staged, Democrats and their lackeys and establishment media act like it's the craziest thing they've ever heard. But go back and watch that video from the town hall. It's practically all women, which is pretty much the only group the left has supporting them at this point. And if you don't believe me, just ask Scott Jennings, who's essentially made a career out of having them scream at him on air. And by the way, it's not like staging things is somehow beneath never-Trumpers or liberals at this point. Just take a look at all of the hate crime hoaxes they've been caught perpetrating over the last 10 years. Remember when the Lincoln Project was caught red-handed trying to do this very thing to sabotage Glenn Youngkin in Virginia, then try to pretend that it was all a joke? I mean, it's not like people with Trump derangement syndrome have anything else going on in their lives or are known for thinking clearly. For crying out loud, they're currently attacking Tesla owners because they don't like Elon Musk.
I think, Scott, you would have been the first person to call for those people's resignation. Accountability is not something that is either Democrat or Republican. Accountability is actually something that normally happens in a well-functioning administration. This isn't, cowboys and Indians and calling for scalps. This is actually what most people would think was, if someone has behaved in a way that puts American lives at risk, they should be held accountable for it.
You don't have to make up hypotheticals, Lulu, about if this happened in a Democratic administration. Let me take you back in time. In a Democratic administration, the Secretary of Defense oversaw a disastrous military operation in which 13 servicemen died in Afghanistan. Then, to try to make up for it, they vaporized like 7 children in a drone strike. Then later, the Secretary of Defense went AWOL and didn't even tell the commander-in-chief.
This is a completely different thing.
You don't have to come up with a hypothetical, Lulu, because the bar apparently is very high for dismissing a Secretary of Defense.
I don't want your words to fall on ears that cannot hear you. Lulu, what's your reaction?
My reaction is, it's not the same thing. I can take you back in time and talk about the Iraq War.
You're right, because people died. People died in the last case and not in this case. People make mistakes.
This was using an unsecure method of discussion by the top members of this administration to discuss top secret, a top secret and very
in which case did people die?
Military
I would like to hear her finish her point, Scott.
The fact of the matter with all of this is that Democrats and the media love Signalgate because it not only allows them to attack President Trump, but also serves as a distraction from the real story of the Houthis attacking American ships, which, surprise, surprise, if you look deeper, Biden was largely responsible for. Senator Lankford stunned Dana Bash on CNN by pointing this out just a few days ago. I mean, first, Biden emboldened them by reversing Trump's terrorist designation in 2021. Then he was slow to act as they assaulted nearly 170 U.S. forces and 140 commercial vessels. And once he did respond, it was weak, pinprick military action that undermined our credibility in the region and left troops and ships vulnerable. So it's no wonder Trump's critics in the media are choosing to focus more on the method Trump's team used to discuss this and not the subject matter actually being discussed. But let me know what you think. What should the official response be to all of this? Is it as serious as the media is claiming it is, or just part of the growing pains of a new administration? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. This stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!